Maybe I'll fight Apollo, and maybe I won't, you know? What do you think? Adrian!
Hey, I got another one.
Oh, this is totally cool. Okay.
Not Cagney. You dirty rat.
Maybe I'll fight Apollo, and maybe I won't, you know? What do you think? Adrian!
Hey, I got another one.
Oh, this is totally cool. Okay.
Not Cagney. You dirty rat.
It was a joke.
Just go to the moon. Yeah, there'll be a day when AI takes over and it'll make us their pet.
What's your problem?
Has
But
happened
Joe,
in the past.
I hear you. I don't want to be right about them killing babies after
Doesn't
born.
I know you don't want
I
to
don't
be
want
right
to be right about
it.
human.
You don't
animal.
have to be. You don't. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you
Drink
want
your
to be
whiskey
right
here.
about it.
Glad to see you again. An idea of what magic white is. The big thing is, do not confuse it with gesso.
Everybody, very small.
I'm going to cover this town with a dome!
Say what's good.
Fly ball going back, and the ball shatters the sky, bringing the ocean itself down into the stadium.
With them.
Because Carrie can't know about the dome. The world was flat.
You know the truth.
To shatter that highest, hardest glass ceiling this time. I guess I'm up against the highest, hardest stained glass ceiling. And I can't believe we just put the biggest crack in that glass ceiling yet. We have still not shattered that highest and hardest glass ceiling, but it's hard to see tonight, but we are all standing under a glass ceiling right now. We are all standing under a glass ceiling right now.
In the land of submarines.
Both of them do. Both of them do have a serious subtext, and it's the idea that we all live under the dome. We're all on planet Earth, and we're not going anywhere. I do too. Do the serious, but the fact is, we all live under the dome.
If you add together sort of the three kinds of things that occupy the universe, the familiar matter, that's what we're made of and what our telescopes detect. The dark matter, that's the source of 85% of all the gravity we see in the universe, and we don't know what's causing it. And the dark energy, the stuff that's making us accelerate against the wishes of gravity. Each one of those components creates a curvature of the fabric of space and time, just as prescribed by Einstein's general theory of relativity. If you add those curvatures together, what you find is that they create a universe that is perfectly flat. Flat. Now, that's not the only shape the universe could have had. The universe could have negative curvature, and if it did, that would have we would have a saddle shape. And a negatively curved universe has a net positive energy. The universe is neither a spherical shape, the shape of a ball. That would be positive curvature, having net negative energy. Now, another way to get insight into this is to think about the energy of orbits. An object in orbit is gravitationally bound to what it circles. And bound orbits have negative gravitational energy. That's how we describe this system. Increase the elongation of the orbit by pumping energy, giving more speed to the object, and the circle distorts and becomes an ellipse. Give it even more speed, the ellipse gets more and more elongated. There's just the right amount of energy, just the right amount of extra speed you can give this object so that it goes so far away it never circles back. In fact, it escapes to infinity. At that point, that object and the system and the orbiting object and the object around which it formerly turned has zero total gravitational energy. And that path is formally called a parabola. Give the object even more energy, then it gets to infinity and keeps going. That has net positive energy, and we call that trajectory a hyperbola. Now, you've actually seen these shapes before at home. Take a flashlight. All flashlights have a cone of light that emerges from them. If you take it and aim it straight at a wall, it'll make a perfect circle. Take it and tip the angle just a bit. That circle distorts and you get an ellipse. Tip the flashlight so it's parallel to the wall, and you'll see the shape on the wall and it'll take the form of a parabola. Angle it a little more, it opens up even further and you get a hyperbola. Try that at home. So, these are what we call conic sections, intersections of a cone of light. And they relate to orbits and they relate to the energy that those objects have. Now, if your space-time is flat, just as if your orbit were a parabola, it means the universe, the entire universe, possesses zero net total energy. Think about that. If the shape of the universe were anything else, positively curved or negatively curved, it would not have zero energy. It would have negative energy or positive energy. We have zero net total energy. Now you wonder, is that good or bad? There's a silver lining to this. What it means is that you can create the entire universe out of nothing because nothing has no net energy associated with it. Had the universe been endowed with either negative or positive energy, we'd be forced to confront the questions of what was the original source of energy that begat the universe. And if it had some amount of energy, why is it that amount and not some other amount? The fact that we live in a zero energy universe bypasses that line of questioning. And does it leave us content in our emptiness? Perhaps. But we're no less enlightened by the ignorance that led to it.
People, I think, recognize the need to do more and to meet this moment. People do encourage people to do the right thing, do just a nod and look, saying, hey, maybe you should reconsider just being out there on the beach, being 22 strong at a park. At home.
Well, I was doing the news last night with the Los Angeles. We're already doing it. Stragglers, folks still in the bubble, people who are in the bubble don't really understand that they're a huge problem because they don't know they're sick. Their symptoms are pretty trivial, and so they are out there being vectors for infections, and we're realizing more and more that people who are asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic are a real issue.
The vector, that social vector of young people not paying attention. And I think they're getting the message, by the way. I'm going to
And finally, a little bit about the National Guard. The federal government continues to take aggressive action and proactive steps to address the COVID-19 threat as we attack the health and safety of the American people.
Well, I've got a little secret. I lead a double life. I'm hoping you can keep it, so please don't tell the wife. When I feel a little peckish, I slip down the pub for a pint of best and a little bit of grub. But if I'm feeling really hungry, I want a little snack, I'll go up to the barman and get myself a packet of peanuts in a bag when you're boozing in the pub. Peanuts in a bowl when you're yakking in the club. Peanuts, you can get them in a fancy restaurant. Peanuts, you can eat them wherever you want. Put a packet in your pocket and a packet in your car. Take a pack of peanuts wherever you are. You got peanuts. You got peanuts. I'm talking about peanuts. Peanuts. Salted, toasted, honey roasted. When I was a kid, I took my peanuts into school, making all the teachers say I'm breaking all the rules. So I put them all away, back in my pencil case. I saved them up for break time, so I could stuff my face. I was learning all my numbers, learning all my words, taking out my peanuts, giving them to girls. I got peanuts, I can tell you a bunch of peanut facts. Like in France, where they call a cacahuète. It's not a nut, but it's really a legume. Neil Armstrong ain't a peanut on the moon. Put a peanut in a vacuum pack and keep it fresh for weeks. And if you are a hamster, you can keep them in your cheeks. You got peanuts. You got peanuts. I'm talking about peanuts. Peanuts. Chocolate coated, honey roasted. So now we're here at the end of my song. I think you can agree, I'm not doing nothing wrong. I hope that her indoors doesn't go on to me, cause she suffers from a peanut allergy. So keep it from her missus, I hope she don't find out. She wouldn't give me kisses with a peanut in my mouth. I got peanuts for my breakfast and peanuts for my lunch. Peanuts for dessert on top of a blancmange. Peanuts at the start and peanuts at the end. Peanuts on my own or sharing them with friends. Put a packet in your pocket and a packet in your car. You take a pack of peanuts wherever you are. You got peanuts. You got peanuts. Oh, I'm talking about peanuts. Peanuts. Am I pleased to see you? Have I got a packet of peanuts for you? Peanuts are for me. You see them in the adverts, you see them on TV. Peanuts for the boys and peanuts for the girls.
Anyway, that's how I escaped from space prison. Oh, scary place.
Well, Rick.
It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. 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 It is photoshopped, but it's
This looks fun.
It is
Are you
photoshopped,
going to the
but
moon?
It's
It's just boring
It is
space
photoshopped,
stuff
but
for
it's
babies,
has to
Daddy.
be.
It's not
It is
real.
photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
And topping this half hour, a new billboard in Detroit causing a lot of controversy.
Looks like you're in a studio, maybe Omaha, Nebraska or something. The shot is so clear. Is this a whole? Are you really in space? Oh yeah, I got. Oh yeah, I got. Oh yeah.
The bill that is being contemplated by the Senate right now has a fund that has hundreds of billions of dollars for the Treasury Department to use to bail out states and localities as well as specific industries such as cruises and hotels. Will you commit publicly that none of that taxpayer money will go towards your own personal
Every
property?
time I do it, like for instance, I committed publicly that I wouldn't take the $450,000 salary. It's a lot of money, whether you're rich or not. It's a lot of money. And I did it. Nobody cared. Nobody said thank you. Nobody said thank you very much. Now, I didn't commit legally. I just said, I don't want it. I don't want my salary. I work for zero. I don't want my salary. Nobody said, oh, thank you very much. But I guarantee you, if I ever took it, you would go out after me, you in particular, would go out after me like crazy. So I have no idea what they're talking about with regard to the one element. Everything's changing, just so you understand. It's all changing. But I have no idea. Instead of being thanked for, again, not agreeing to do it, but just for not doing it, I get excoriated all the time. So I've learned, let's just see what happens, because we have to save some of these great companies. There can be great companies literally in a matter of weeks. We have to save them. Yeah, please.
I started to question things like my own beliefs and my own existence. Like, how does this work? What is the mind? There's this voice that keeps saying shit. What is the truth? What do I know? Am I the body or am I the soul? If I was to die, where would I go? Do I even matter if this is how it goes? But when I woke up, you know what I realized? I am the soul, and this body is just my vehicle. And with that awakening came so much more information about the system and how it works. Cause if you know the truth, you regain self-control. Not even a remote chance to get programmed or deceive no more. You start to do some research. That's researching what you think you know when you find out that the earth is actually not a spinning globe. What the fuck are you saying? You sound and thought I'm insane, but it's true, we live on a planet flat and stationary. The truth will set you free, won't go back to that mental celling. Now I live my life in peace, which back then couldn't do if you paid me. Realize, there's realize and realize. Don't be surprised, we'll find the truth real deep inside. When I see the sky, the sun, the moon, they seem alive. Wish I could fly, so I can see my home with no CGI.
Tactical error, crack like a mirror. Eric Dubay bringing lyrical terror. Hate speech Al-Qaeda, but my rhymes are tighter. I rap for the masses, tracks full of classics. Masterful, plastered with factual fanfare. Banned, but I'm back to attack with a fair share. Crap that I can't bear, cause I'm a care bear. Where is the justice? We need to come up in 19.5 billion per year is what we pay them just to hear. We're spinning right round the Milky Way, waiting on the sun to die one day. But that isn't happening, that is inaccurate. Stick to the facts, not fear-mongering rocket. Masons are liars, NASA are masons. Masons that lie like they're snakes in the garden. The sun isn't dying, your soul is immortal, and so is the solace of solar return. You will ever remember in embers and flames the end of December dismemberment plan. It's a good band. By the way, watch what they say. Everything your government tells you is fake, especially anything about outer space. The only thing they could ever make I would rate is every politician's fucking head on a plate. But we're probably never gonna see that day, cause everybody's living in their rainbow way, with no real men left, cause they've all turned.
There's realize and realize. Don't be surprised. You'll find the truth real deep inside. When I see the sky, the sun, the moon, they seem alive. Wish I could fly, so I can see my home with no CGI. Realize, there's realize and realize. Don't be surprised. You'll find the truth real deep inside. When I see the sky, the sun, the moon, they seem alive. Wish I could fly.
How would you like it if someone told you the truth?
Like what? What could they say?
He says the Earth is definitely flat.
Hi.
Oh, now surely this is the right spot. Look at this. This area is filled with books about pretend people.
That's right, Grover. This is the fiction section. Fiction means it's a made-up story. 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 Fiction means it's a made-up story.
Fiction means it's a made-up story.
Some sunshine. Oh, I need some sunshine.
Fiction means it's a made-up story. Fiction means it's a made-up story.
The coronavirus hoax. Governments love crises because when the people are fearful, they are more willing to give up freedoms for promises that the government will take care of inside their homes instead of going outdoors or to the beach where the sunshine and fresh air would help boost immunity.
500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat, and 15 minutes ago...
Time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change.
Postafazul. She's around, she's firm, she's fully packed. She's around like my head. She's flat like your head.
What's up, y'all? It's Flat Earth Bob here. I'm starting this GoFundMe because I would like to send one, if not multiple, satellites as far into space as I can, or into orbit as I can, to find the curve. I'm looking for the curve.
Knowledge that searchers of cosmic truths have arrived at. And in there is their enthusiasm, their excitement. You end up liking their subject even if you didn't care about their subject because they brought enthusiasm to it. Curmudgeon or anything, or just told. I got one, you ready? Now, you know, I don't curmudgeon or anything. You don't see the curvature of the Earth. You just don't. That stuff is flat. That stuff is flat. That stuff is flat. So we could draw it that far back and say we are family.
Smoother than a velvet tongue, like comes to the lips of some elitist psychopath that's trying to take your shit. He makes your kids believe in falsities while getting praised as God. Welcome to America Land, based on a Masonic fraud. Watch him applaud like Jerry Springer for an innocent's death. Now multiply by 1,000,000 and this country's all that's left. Spreading meth around the world through biker gangs and the feds. Not a war on drugs, a war on us, that's what it is instead. The dead and dying lying in hospital beds every day, and medical malpractice kills more than cigarettes anyway. Any day that we change it, there'll be conformists aplenty, acting like the chains we just shrugged off were really tempting entry to a higher echelon of social insanity, reserved for nerds doomed to consume the mental depravity. I had to see the darkness that was right outside the door, and now I've steeled myself, no fearing dead anymore. All the rappers who act, the whole robotic, masonic, hypnotic propaganda's a trap. So many people buying the lies rather than dealing with facts, because if they were, they'd be given the TSA and answer the acts. I'd rather yo ass be reading than even bumping this track. The rays gives heliocentrism a smack. Even your own perspective will prove the earth's flat. Imagine that. Never trapped again by the same circle of logic. Globular prophets, masonic hobbits, or a food that is toxic. Fiber optic cable stretching all over the world, but you still believe satellites are real. My lip curls in a sneer, the veneer of honesty on a throne of lies, while trap rappers acting like they're willing to kill or die. Why lie when most people know it's all a facade? Still so many choosing illusions over the truth and inside. Need no reply. Santa Claus and Mickey Mouse religion, a bunch of callow, shallow materialists feeding the system, filling up the hearts of men with nothing but grief, because the greatest form of control is blind faith-based belief. Speak the truth, dude, or truly speak not at all. You're not in the Milky Way, your ass is not on a spinning ball. Calling it as it is doesn't make me pessimistic, not that most of the population would even know the definition. Robotic, masonic, hypnotic propaganda's a trap. So many people buying the lies rather than dealing with facts, cause if they were, they'd be given the TSA and answer the acts. I'd rather yo ass be reading than even bumping this track. Crepuscular rays gives heliocentrism a smack. Even your own perspective proves the earth's flat. Imagine that.
Imagine that. Dubé steps on your track, takes your chill vibe, breaks its spine, cracks his neck, kills your last verse. Still thinking you live on a ball that is wobbling, tilting and spinning through space many miles per second, cause Freemason said so, and so you believe it and couldn't conceive that you might be deceived by the very same people that gave you your preach. So you're probably not feeling this cognitive dissonance, triggering Christians and ballers believers, bitch.
Fuck the fake personas of all the rappers who act. The whole robotic, masonic, hypnotic propaganda's a trap. So many people buying the lies rather than dealing with facts, cause if they were, they'd be given the TSA and answer the acts. I'd rather yo ass be reading than even bumping this track. I'm so hated by the chosen, call me Yasser Arafat. Crepuscular rays gives heliocentrism a smack. Even your own perspective proves the earth's flat. Imagine that.
In every nation and in every city, schools consider the shape of the earth a fundamental scientific fact, and that supposed fact is repeatedly taught from day one all the way through graduate school. Yet no one has seen this globe or its curvature or its effects, but it's still taught as a fundamental fact based solely on faith in our institutions. Much like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, the globe is truly a faith-based religious system with the Big Bang, gravity, and nature as our creators. In addition to incessant educational programming, the spherical Earth is shown in countless movies, television shows, video games, books, comics, newspapers, businesses, and websites. Pay attention. They put the sphere and the alleged curvature in nearly everything in the media. It is no exaggeration that every day there's a news story, new movie, picture, or show regarding so-called space supporting your understanding of the globe, Earth, and outer space. The globe indoctrination is ubiquitous and unrelenting. Moreover, the spherical Earth is fully supported by every major religion: Catholics, Protestants, Mormons, Muslims, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism. All major religions support the spherical Earth. There is no other symbol that is shown with as much pride and zeal than the globe Earth. Moreover, the term flat earther is a well-known pejorative term to refer to someone as anti-science or anti-facts. If you ever want to ruin your reputation among a group of people, just refer to yourself as a flat earther, and the mocking will begin by even your closest loved ones. I guarantee that every flat earther here knows this as a personal fact. Ask yourself, why does questioning the globe Earth cause such a knee-jerk, negative emotional response? Like Pavlov's dogs, when you mention the flat Earth to anyone, almost without exception, the listener will be enraged, salivating at the mere mention of it. We get it, but please, try to set aside that Pavlovian response and just allow yourself to have a legitimate discussion with us, even out of intellectual curiosity.
Too regimented. We believe what we are told, and we do as we are told. What I want to do in this program is to examine the ideas and the views of some people who aren't shackled in this way, who are quite prepared to go out on a limb and think for themselves. Now, whether they're right or whether they're wrong is neither here nor there. I may fundamentally disagree with quite a lot of what we're going to hear. This doesn't matter. This is merely a question of personal opinion. And of course, in astronomy, there's a great deal we don't know. But we're learning more every year, in fact, every month. For example, we have now the idea of going out into space with projects such as Apollo.
20 seconds out, we get a loud and clear, Frank Borman. All looks great.
As the astronauts went moonward, they could see the Earth. And to most people, this new view confirmed that the world is a globe, but not to everyone. And while in Apollo 8, the commander, Colonel Borman, mentioned the views of Mr. Samuel Shenton, president of the International Flat Earth Society, who lives in Dover and who believes the Earth is shaped like a gramophone record, with the North Pole in the middle and a wall of ice all round the edge.
Links very much with the statement which was given out by General Boardman, the astronaut. He spoke about the Earth in its early stages. The Earth in its early stages was revealed from the waters, and it was revealed as a four-square fabric.
Like this, in fact?
Absolutely like that.
And this is water around it?
Absolutely, yes, yes. The waters were dispelled from the Earth, and the whole thing was covered by a heaved-up structure, shamihim in the Hebrew, a heaved-up structure actually in water.
What about the astronauts, then? If they didn't, in fact, go round the Earth, what did they go round?
Their track goes across the Earth's surface,
yes,
so much so that...
Here. The North Pole in the middle and the South Pole all round.
Yes. The astronauts fired off from Cape Canaveral, or Kennedy as it is today. They went on an egg-shaped orbit over this like that.
Keeping the same height all the time?
Absolutely so. Dr. Littleton said that to put a thing into orbit, you carry it up to a height and then level off.
What exactly is this line here?
Oh, those result from the camera photographing the horizon, and the photographs result in these humped effects, which people are presented with. They think the Earth is round.
In fact, there isn't any South Pole.
No, no, no. The 60,000 miles was round the ice barrier, and so far man has not gone across the ice barrier to investigate any further.
And I wonder if everything now is so stereotyped and conventional that independent thought is stifled early on. And if so, does school play a part in the stifling? I decided to ask the boys of Homewood House, near Tunbridge Wells, whether they accepted everything that their masters told them, or whether they were ready to strike out along an independent line. Why does snow fall down?
It's freezing.
It's water freezing.
And it's too heavy to be held up by the atmosphere, so it falls down.
Why does it fall down? This is the point.
Gravity.
Gravity, yes. Now, what's gravity? Do you know?
Newton discovered.
Yes, now, one at a time. What do you think gravity is?
Well, it is, as it says, a push or a pull, which makes things fall towards the earth.
This is what you've been told, isn't it?
Yes.
Have you ever tried to prove it?
Yes.
Yes.
You throw a stone up in the air and it comes down again.
I know it does. What would you say, for example, of someone who said that the universe ended in a blank wall? Would you think this was reasonable?
No, that's illogical. That is what's on the other side.
Come on, you hadn't had to say it yet. What do you think about it all?
Well, if it does end at the wall, what's on the other side of the wall? There can't be just nothing. There's got to be something.
If on the other hand, if on the other hand the universe doesn't end, then it's got to go on forever, hasn't it? Well, can you imagine that?
No.
No, of course you can't.
It's like a road, never ending and never beginning.
Do you ever question this? I mean, do you ever think that everything that we are taught, I'm not talking about religion at the moment, everything that we are taught about science particularly, just could be wrong, and there may be some frightful flaw that nobody's thought about? Has it ever occurred to you? Something really fundamental. I mean, in either mathematics or science itself, or anything you like. What would you say then? Any idea
But
what...
the molecule structure
Yes,
might be
here we are.
wrong.
The molecule structure might be wrong.
I mean, the molecules that we know are based on carbon.
Ah, now, who told you this?
Our science master.
And you just accept it?
Naturally, because I can't think of anything else that it could be made up of.
I see, well, that's a jolly good reason.
Some unheard of thing.
Very fair. They think for themselves, but perhaps only within certain limits. We must accept some things, I know that, but there's a danger that we're going to turn into regimented sheep if we accept too much. Or have we already done it? And I very much fear that I'm one of these sheep already. I've become ultra-conventional. I believe that the Earth is a planet, a globe nearly 8,000 miles across going around the Sun. I believe that the Moon is another globe going around the Earth, that the Sun is a star, and that the other stars are themselves suns. And I base this upon what I hope is reasonable interpretation of the facts as I've been told them, and the things that I've seen through this telescope. What the independent thinker has to do is to start absolutely from scratch, look out into the universe, take what he sees there, and then put his own independent opinion on it without bothering about anybody else. And this is exactly what has been done by Mr. John Bradbury of Ashton-under-Lyne, who's thrown all orthodoxy out of the window and has constructed a picture of the universe that is all his own, based partly upon theory and partly upon observations made with his strictly unorthodox telescope. Well, Mr. Bradbury, this looks like a conventional telescope, but I gather it isn't.
No, it's far from being a conventional telescope because it isn't split up in the lenses. Most of the lenses in this telescope are at the eye end.
Down here,
the
you mean?
eyepiece end, yes. Yes, there's only one object lens at the other end.
What's the purpose of having so many lenses?
Well, you can't get the power without. You must have the power to bring the object very much closer. With a conventional telescope, you can't do that.
I would have thought that every time you passed a beam of light through an extra lens, you'd lose a bit of light.
Yes, that is so, that you do lose light. But looking at objects in the sky, you don't need to lose it.
Looking at your map of the Earth, it looks to me as if you've got the North Pole in the middle and all directions are south. Is this correct?
Yes, it is correct in that method.
Now, what about gravity?
Sir Isaac Newton, when he was in an orchard in Lincolnshire, saw an apple fall from the tree, and he brought out his theory of gravity, that the gravity had drawn this apple to the ground. Yet, he didn't make a law which held the other apples on. Now, he also said that if you could stand a needle up on its point without any support, he would believe that the world wasn't going round. Naturally, I had to bring out a new theory to prove the shape of the world, the shape of the Earth too, you see.
Which is what you've done?
Yes, that is it. And you see, no matter where we are on the Earth's surface, we will always be pulled back to the centre.
And that's why you can't go to the edge of the Earth, in fact?
Yes, you cannot go to the edge of the Earth.
Well, let's have a look at the actual diagram of the Earth itself, shall we? This, I think, is very interesting. There we are. Now, I know that you've got the Earth as with a flat top and kind of a round underneath. Is this correct?
Yes, that is quite so. Yes, you see, this is more like a jigsaw puzzle. You can't complete it without a flat-topped Earth.
So this is the entire universe, in fact?
Yes, you see, you've got the full metallic stony background, and this, of course, was where the flow of magnetism is.
What's this line down here?
Now, this line is for the sub-semi-vacuum. It divides the pure vacuum from the semi-vacuum which surrounds the Earth itself.
What about the Sun and Moon?
The Moon?
It's a flat disk, is it?
Not actually flat. It is slightly convex, but not much on the surface. Now, it is a disk of carbon.
The Moon's made of carbon?
Just carbon, yes. Just a carbon disk, which shows in this.
Yes.
This I saw 2 years ago on the harvest moon, September moon. And this material here is plasticine phosphorus, or a material very, very similar to that.
But where does that come from? Where does the plasticine phosphorus actually picked up?
It's circulating in the atmosphere. When the moon's waning, it allows it to go off, and when it's waxing, it picks it up again. Now, this illustration here
is more of the moon itself, with a finger-like projection coming over the top. This happened in 1953, and the finger-like projection stayed on for 3 days.
There was only one there, was there?
There was only one, yes, definitely one. I built another telescope, and I used an astronomer's telescope too, to prove whether I was right or not, but I couldn't see it with the astronomer's telescope.
And was this due to the plasticine phosphorus spreading over the moon gradually?
Yes, but I think it picked a little more up than it should have done, you see. The surface of the moon, the thickness of the surface is around about 1 inch. This has been really worked out. Mathematically, it's really been worked out.
What incidentally about the sun? Do you think the sun is small also?
The sun would be, I should think, about twice the size of the moon, because it can, the moon can go in the front of the sun and cover the whole sun up. And that is why the sun really is only twice the distance from of the moon.
And of course, the sun presumably is very much hotter than the moon.
Yes, if we speak of hot as hot, but the sun actually is cold. It's
I see.
Very cold indeed, because we couldn't get a lot of heat. The sun wasn't cold, you see.
You know, I think you're going to be the first to admit that these ideas and theories of yours are not conventional ones.
Correctly, yes.
Well, I know that you've also given lectures at various universities. I mean, I wasn't at your lecture at Cambridge University or at Keele, but I heard about the people who were. And how do you find that other people react to your ideas?
Well, some people, of course, when it's all explained thoroughly, they will accept it. But if it isn't explained thoroughly, well, of course, they think we're nutcases or something, you see.
Well, Mr. Bradbury hasn't yet started his photographic experiments, but when he does so, I am sure that the results will be truly remarkable. Let me concede that I don't pretend to agree with his theories, but I have the greatest admiration for him as a man who's had the moral courage to break clean away from every semblance of conventionality, strike out for himself, and lecture publicly about it with no fear of ridicule or scorn. To me, Mr. Bradbury is the supreme example of the independent thinker.
The Earth was flat as a pizza.
The Earth ain't flat.
Looks incredibly flat.
That stuff is flat. Flat.
That is that. You get up above it all, and that's that. Unless the world is flat.
Flat.
Unless the world is flat. On the hill, see the world spinning round.
Flat.
You're no longer on the ball, no longer riding on the merry-go-round. This is it.
Flat.
Things go round, these things go round, these things go round, these things go round. And we do fly. top, he flat top, he flat top, flat top, he flat top, he flat top. The earth ain't flat.
Flat.
That is that. You get up above it all, and that's that. Unless the world is flat.
Flat.
Unless the world is flat. Along the hill, see the world spinning round.
Flat.
You're no longer on the ball. No longer riding on the merry-go-round. This is it.
Flat.
Things go round, these things go round, these things go round, these things go round, and we do fly. Here come old flat top, he flat top, he flat top, flat top, he flat top, he flat top.
We start that stuff that then become cool. We start them trends that then become rules. Leaving stickers on hats at your kids with a spoon. Yo, I'm up in this club with more secrets than Freemasons.
Flat.
Disappear like the career of Kevin Costner while we sitting here drinking beers with Jimmy Hoffa.
That's my eyeball looking at you from the pyramid on cash. We're so bad we can make an iPad run flash. Got more secrets than deodorant.
That then becomes cool. Illuminati starts a trend that then become cool. Illuminati.
NASA's missions to the moon were never completed. They just filmed them in a room and people believe it. I used to wonder what it's like to be an astronaut. Now when I see them acting, I can't help but to laugh a lot. They give us cartoons and they claim that we live on a ball, but it's flat and it's not moving or spinning at all. Why you lying to us, man? That's something that we want to know. After that, you're gonna have to pack up all your stuff and go. History has been rewritten by winners of wars. The Jesuit order, Khazars, Freemasons, and more. They pulled the veil over our eyes, and it's time to awaken. Through organized indoctrination, our minds have been taken. It's time we take our power back and we rescue our people. The Vatican and the Bakers are like Resident Evil. They may have had the greatest plan that was ever concocted, but Illuminati never thought that they'd ever be spotted. They're manufacturing reality all in our heads. They tell us if the earth is flat, then we'll fall off the edge. But if it is a spinning ball, we won't fall off it then. And gravity is our imaginary magic friend. Why is water always flat when unmanipulated? Why are pictures of the earth computer generated? Why you lying to us, man? That's something that we want to know. After that, you're gonna have to pack up all your stuff and go.
Flat.
Знаете, вот
Вижте,
сказал, что вроде чести космонавтов, что они не говорят о том в космосе. А им говорить нечего. Я об этом
кара космонавтите да говорят за това, което става в космоса. Те просто не знаят нищо такова. Ние не сме били в космоса. Ако някой твърди това, това не е вярно, не е истина.
Flat.
Това е добре, когато хората мислят. Това ми харесва.
Rzeczywiście jest kulą zawieszoną w kosmosie?
Jest płaska. Tak jak oczekują i nie spodziewałem się co prawda tego pytania, ale zapewniam pana, że jest płaska.
Generał Mirosław.
Flat.
I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and because we didn't go there, and because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen. So
flat.
I am very glad to be able to express my friendly feelings towards the American nation. Friendship with which Italy looks at the millions of citizens who from Alaska to Florida, from the Pacific to the Atlantic, live in the United States, is today deeply rooted in our hearts. This feeling, created by mutual interests, so contributed to the preparation of an ever brighter era in the life of both nations. I grieve the wonderful energy of the American people, and I see and recognize among you sons of your land as well as ours, my fellow citizens, who are working to make America great. Working to make America great.
And yes, together, we will make America great
flat.
To make America great
again.
Flat earthers, why don't you go to the freaking edge?
I think I'm a flat earther. The earth is flat, people.
You type it in, and up comes everybody else who shares that exact idea. And so the tribalization now can cut through the population in other ways that have not been traditional. Mm-hmm. That's why you have the rise of flat earthers, right? They've all found each other. There used to be a lone person at the party that say this who now they all have banded together. And so I don't think this is good as a general fact, because it's appealing to some base sort of caveman tribal element that we know is still in us. And they create a universe that is perfectly flat. Flat. Now, flat. Now, if your space-time is flat, think about that. Flat. Now, is flat. Think about that. Sort of flattened circle. Why aren't they some other shape? And you say, I don't know. I'll get back to you. What you find is that they create a universe that is perfectly flat. Flat. So, flat. To research it. Flat. Research it.
I am very glad to be able to express my friendly feelings towards the American nation.
Pick up everyone here in the chat room. Thank you very much. Yeah, all right, everybody. Have a lovely evening. And let's do this again sometime. Big up everyone here. Yeah, big up everyone here. So I'll do it again soon. Yeah, man, y'all be good. Peace, guys.
album, the T-shirt.
What did you want to know about it? I haven't really looked at it that much. You know, I don't really remember. To some degree. To some degree.
I do.
Do you think of yourself primarily as a singer?
To some degree. It's time to really. When's that? To some degree. No, I don't foresee it, but it's to some degree. Intoxicated to some degree. To some degree. But the words. To some degree.
The words, can you hear it?
To some degree, which I would know the words to put to.
You'd say that.
Yes, to some degree. Not with the guitar though.
Man, that's the best idea since they faked the moon landing.
Okay, cut.
Like that ground control guy during the moon landing.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Roger that, Neil. We came in peace for all the peoples of the earth.
Wow, Neil Armstrong. Hey, wait a minute. You're supposed to be on the moon. I just saw it on TV.
Oh, there's a tape delay and with all solar winds. We read you, Neil. We chose to go to the moon not because it is easy, but because it is hard. Had a lot of help down here, Neil. We have slipped the surly bonds of Earth and... Grab some rocks, Neil. Throw them in a bag. We'll get you home safe and sound.
You don't think that you're going to accept a chip in your brain that's going to let you see the future? Right. That's ridiculous. You're going to take it. You're going to get that operation. Listen,
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
They're so stupid!
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore.
What a bunch of dumbasses. Yeah, really.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
The pressure difference between the inside of the plane and the outside.
Then you have a leak.
You are stupid. 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 And don't forget, you are stupid.
Did you notice any curvature while we were up there?
Curvature? No.
No? There's no curvature?
It's just all flat.
What's up? What's up, pilots? Is the Earth flat or round? Flat. Thanks. I'm with you.
As you may know, SoundCloud is a paid service that Tanster uses to host her audio recordings. She shared on her blog, "How on earth is this possible? One person gave Tanster 9 likes and 3 shares? Of course not. Clearly, SoundCloud's numbers are being artificially manipulated." But why would a platform do this to a paying customer, you ask? Well, let's look at that post's comment section. Integrity by buying fake likes and comments. They are pushing Tanster to lie and deceive her audience with paid for shills. This immoral practice is loudly condemned by the public when a business is caught doing it, and yet SoundCloud is pressuring Tanster to do exactly that. They mess with her numbers, and then they facilitate these spammers hawking an unethical and immoral form of deceptive advertising. Wow, man. That is appalling. Hey, Ron. You wanted to see me? Yeah, Andre. Tell me about this big project you and your team have been working on. Oh, you heard about that? See, Ron, it hasn't really... Just tell me about the damn project. Sure, no problem. We actually have been working on it for months. See, it's a huge psyop about a psyop. It's very meta. We unleash this huge psyop. It affects the whole planet. Tanster will immediately know it's a huge psyop because that is something she always seems able to do. Because she's so obsessively crazy with the truth, she will be forced to call it a psyop. Because it is a psyop. That's what she does. So, how does that help a client? This is the beauty part. There are really injured people as a part of this psyop. Therefore, if Tanster calls it a false flag, she will offend the people who are really injured. Our media puppets will then broadcast their stories. Great. So she'll be labeled inhumane. Oh no, Ron. It's even better. See, We have been peppering in the news media that only Chinese terrorists call things psyops. Since Tanster has now been forced by us to call something a psyop, and Chinese terrorists call things psyops, Tanster's obviously a Chinese terrorist. We just keep saying Tanster Chinese terrorist over and over and over and over and over. Different wording. Lots of headlines. She'll be ruined. Perfect. Great idea. You just got yourself a raise. Thanks. But it hasn't really worked. What? Wayne, that's not. It's flawless. We can call Tanster a Chinese terrorist. But she didn't bite. Tanster hasn't exposed her obvious hysteria psyop. But that's all anyone's talking about. I know she doesn't watch any of our media anymore, so she doesn't even see most of our stuff. But she couldn't have missed this one. Yeah, Jackie thinks Tanster spotted our psyop trap and just skipped it. How does she do it? Okay then. What did Pray Tell is Tanster talking about this week?
Hi guys, welcome to the video.
Earth is flat.
Focus Tour, WW Weight Watchers Reimagined, and I join forces to bring you candid conversations with some of the world's most famous trailblazers, whose story of wellness will empower you. One of the things I wanted to do, channel their fame, do well.
So what we do is we do research. Is I want a mental health professional.
Indeed. Lady Gaga gave up her vacation.
Knowledge that searchers of cosmic truths have arrived at. And in there is their enthusiasm, their excitement. You end up liking their subject even if you didn't care about their subject because they brought enthusiasm to it. Curmudgeon or anything, or just tall. I got one, you ready? Now, you know, I don't curmudgeon or anything. You don't see the curvature of the earth. You just don't. That stuff is flat. That stuff is flat. That stuff is flat. So we could draw it that far back and say we are family.
Premiere.
Wake up, you need to 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 wake up,
Used to play pretend,
wake up.
We would build a rocket ship and then we fly far away.
Wake up.
We used to play pretend,
wake up.
Used to dream of outer space, but now they're laughing at the face saying,
Wake up, you need to wake up, you need to
we would build a rocket ship and then we fly far away. Saying,
wake up, you need to wake up, you need to wake.
We used to play pretend,
Wake up.
Used to dream of outer space, but now they're laughing at the face saying,
Wake up, you need to wake up.
Yeah.
Wake
Land
up.
of the thieves, home of the slaves. 19 billion, that's 50 million a day. That's what NASA gets, just to lie to the human race. Pretending to go to space, but they fake it right to our face. And they say they moonwalk, but that just wasn't the case. Try to tell us there's a rover on Mars, but it's a fake. CGI satellites, but I don't see a trace. People everywhere waking up, we're shaking up the place. So if you let me, I can shake up the thoughts that you tend to think of. I fell in love with truth and I don't ever want to break up. Let's take a look what's underneath the Hollywood makeup. So much that gets put in our face is straight made up. This place they call a planet that they lied about the shape of. They can play pretend, but me, I'm calling for
wake up.
Freemasons and Zionists, the ones that put the eye on it. Try to say they scientists, but I can't say I'm buying it. Do you know what science is and how that they decided it? They just keep rewriting it to keep us from enlightenment. Knowing that they lying it, stay promoting violence. Knowing that we're gullible products of our environment. No, I can't can't be silent, and nor will I be compliant. Not reliant on the tyrants to fall if we're not defiant. I can't seem to find the curvature. Total social overture. The sun is small and local to the earth as it encircles her. Nothing like the lies of elite sun worshippers, but up against the Bible, I don't even need interpreters. Earth is flat and motionless. Open up a scope and see a boat across the ocean mist. Chemtrails clogging up what used to be an openness, and fluoridated water come in concentrated dosages. I'm conscious of the brokenness. People all over the place deceived. I hate to see. Space is not a place you see. It's fake. It's only make-believe. Constellations prove that the earth doesn't move, but the liars on wires wanna take away the truth. I'm screaming.
Wake up, you need to wake up, you need to wake up, you need to wake up.
We used to play pretend,
Wake up.
We would build a rocket ship and then we fly far away.
Wake up.
We used to play pretend,
Wake up.
Used to dream of outer space, but now they're laughing at the face saying,
Wake up, you need to wake up, you need to wake up, you need to wake up.
Ever wonder why, when you looked up in the sky, exactly how the sun and moon ended up the same size? It's 90 million miles and 250,000. Y'all can beat my poker face, cause that defies some odds. Yeah, I tell you this is gambling with every dose of Ambien. You're managing the trance you're in, so let me be your wake-up call. Let me be your wake-up call. You ever been to space at all? Who's above us? One that loves us or aliens that hate us all? Man, I used to catch some Z's on this flat plane. Then the alarm clock rang and all that changed. Like, motionless. Please tell me you see how fat this ocean is. The devil lied to us, lied to you, lied to me. Tried to hide my creator, made me play some hide and seek. But he speaks, and if I seek him, that he won't hide from me. If I knock it, he will open it and show me what I need. That greed is the enemy. Forked tongue of the serpent as he dangles from the trees and trying to keep us all far, far away from obedience. Trying to take our will and our next of kins. Had us living for the sun, not the S-O-N. So good morning, beautiful. Time to rise and shine. Time to breathe this morning air. Open those sleepy eyes. Yeah, good morning, wonderful. Time to shake them dreams. Feel a savior's love for you. This world ain't what you think, man. Good morning, beautiful. Time to rise and shine. Time to breathe this morning air. Open those sleepy eyes. Yeah, good morning, wonderful. Time to shake them dreams. Feel the savior's love for you. This world ain't what you think. This world ain't what you think. It's time to
wake up. You need to wake up. You need to wake up. You need to wake up.
we used to play pretend,
Wake up.
We would build a rocket ship and then we fly far away.
Wake up.
We used to play pretend,
Wake up.
Used to dream of outer space, but now they're laughing at the face saying,
Wake up. You need to wake up. You need to
We would build a rocket ship and then we fly far away saying,
wake up. You need to wake up. You need to
We used to play pretend,
Wake up.
Used to dream of outer space, but now they're laughing at the face saying,
Wake up. You need to wake up.
Yeah.
Wake up.
We'll continue to do what it takes to turn science fiction into science fact.
Who's excited? Who's excited? First live 4K transmission from space ever.
Thank you. Good morning, and welcome to Reaching for the Stars, connecting to the future with NASA and Hollywood.
For the next hour, this panel will look at how NASA and Hollywood use advanced technology by demonstrating for the first time ever a live public 4K broadcast from the International Space Station.
Give me a summary of what the mission goals are for your time on orbit and what responsibilities and jobs are going to be yours when you're up there.
Well, I'm one of the science guys, and I'm one of the repair guys. And fortunately, there's lots of science and lots of repair to do on station, so that will certainly keep us all busy.
What happens if you get a leak on that?
Then you have a leak. And then there's probably a plan. I don't know off the top of my head, but there's probably a plan.
We're doing science inside, we're doing science outside. We're doing science inside, we're doing science. We're doing science inside, we're doing science outside. 6 tons of science. Knock out that science, absolutely. Floating around doing science all day, every day. That's the job of this place, is just rocking the science. We're doing science inside, we're doing science outside. We're doing science inside, we're doing science. We're doing science inside, we're doing science outside. Cranking away and getting great results back to Earth. Doing some great work against the cancer to help humanity. That's the job of this place, is just rocking the science. We're doing science inside, we're doing science outside. We're doing science inside, we're doing science. We're doing science inside, we're doing science outside. 6 tons of science. Knock out that science, absolutely. Floating around doing science all day, every day. That's the job of this place, is just rocking the science. We're doing science inside, we're doing science outside. We're doing science inside, we're doing science. We're doing science inside, we're doing science outside. Cranking away and getting great results back to Earth. Doing some great work against the cancer to help humanity. That's the job of this place, is just rocking the science.
Now we've got an interesting question from Cody, again here with us in Liverpool, and that's going to lead us into our next activity. Cody, go ahead.
Thank you guys. We really appreciate what you do. Godspeed. Have a great rest of your mission.
We're doing science inside, we're doing science outside. We're doing science inside, we're doing science. We're doing science inside, we're doing science outside. 6 tons of science. Knock out that science, absolutely. Floating around doing science all day, every day. That's the job of this place, is just rocking the science. We're doing science inside, we're doing science outside. We're doing science inside, we're doing science. We're doing science inside, we're doing science outside. Cranking away and getting great results back to Earth. Doing some great work against the cancer to help humanity. That's the job of this place, is just rocking the science.
Station, this is Houston ACR. Thank you. That concludes our event.
And from Mission Control Houston, thanks for all the participants there at Space Center Houston. Really fun event, great questions. And Station, we are now resuming operational audio communication.
Like, is the Earth flat? Like, I think if we are just suddenly saying, like, we believe this to be true, because it looks so I think most people think it's flat.
Flapjack, flatter than a flapjack. We about to flat smack. Globus, get your backpack. I'm with my flat pack. Globes in the trash sack. As a mutual equidistant map up on my snapback. Flat smack. Everybody.
Edge of the flat Earth. I guess anything.
The Earth is flat.
The schoolroom globes.
Think about it. Seeing the pictures, right? Flat.
The Earth is flat.
Sorry.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake.
The flat Earth. I guess anything's possible, Jerry.
And you can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly.
Yeah, look, the three Templar V's here. Well,
You know, there's a little one, a bigger one, a middle one, you know, for Isaac, Horus, and Seth. Cam is a bit cold, so I'm here.
Jerry, just remember, it's not a lie if you believe it. It's not a lie if you believe it.
part, just remember, it's not a lie if you believe it.
Nobody has a monopoly on what is a very hard problem. But I don't have much patience for anyone who denies that this challenge is real. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
Earth is flat. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. I don't have much patience, much patience, much patience, much patience. This challenge is real. The Earth is flat.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
Earth is flat.
For the Cavaliers, he recently said that he believes the world is flat.
Do you actually age less in space because there's no gravity?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. We wish that were the case, and I think cosmetically maybe we look a little bit younger if we have, I think, fewer wrinkles sometimes because we have this upward shift of everything without gravity pulling our skin down. But realistically, there actually is a toll on our bodies physiologically and medically, and that's part of the reason why all these experiments are so important. We have seen certain physiological systems, like our arteries, for example, do age faster up here than they do on Earth. So it's really important that we keep the toll on our bodies physiologically and medically, and the toll on our bodies physiologically and medically, and we can
research flat Earth.
But can you do this? If Earth isn't flat, then why am I wearing headphones when there's no audio? If Earth isn't flat, why are a computer mouse like this and not like this?
Let it go for a second. There. Thank you. That's why I know we haven't been to the moon.
You keep going.
Johnny Basher via Twitter wants to know what would happen if the Earth stopped rotating for a second.
Oh, yeah, that would be disastrous. Disastrous, because right now, here in New York, you can calculate at our latitude, we are all moving with the Earth at 800 miles an hour. Due east. Earth is rotating. If you stopped Earth and you were in seat belt buckled to the Earth, you would fall over and roll 800 miles an hour due east. It would kill everyone on Earth. People would be flying out of windows, and that would just be a bad day on Earth. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
If somehow we all
slow down,
so anything not bolted to the Earth would fly due east, 800 miles an hour. That's what happens to you in a car if you hit a brick wall and you're not wearing a seatbelt. You keep going. You keep going. You keep going. Keep going.
I really love balancing stones. Balancing stones. It looks so still and quiet.
You keep going.
Johnny Basher via Twitter wants to know what would happen if the Earth stopped rotating for a second.
Oh, yeah, that would be disastrous. Disastrous, because right now, here in New York, you can calculate at our latitude, we are all moving with the Earth at 800 miles an hour. Due east. Earth is rotating. If you stopped Earth and you were in seat belt buckled to the Earth, you would fall over and roll 800 miles an hour due east. It would kill everyone on Earth. People would be flying out of windows, and that would just be a bad day on Earth.
The Earth is flat. What you know about that? Waking up and realize 500 years of the lies. It's flat. A material plane. You got the balls on the brain. Heliocentric insane. No matter how high we rise, even up into the skies, the horizon is your eyes. They told us it was a globe, just so they could control our mind, body, and soul. Born into a brainwashed society, had you believing in the ball since you were age 3. Scientism, the new religion, put you inside a prison while constantly drilling that you live in a solar system. Space! The final frontier, keep them hooked with Hollywood. New movies every year, we've been hypnotized. All we've been told is lies in a heliocentric haze, says Copernicus staked his claims. They tried to hide the truth. The fake landing on the moon was because they needed proof. So they had Apollo take a picture of the globe outside the window for the television show. Was it a painting or photo? I think math for the intro and Dubé for the info. Yeah, they put me in the know that NASA is just a show. Sayonara to the globe, cause it's flat, I'm gonna go.
By turning Earth into a spinning ball thrown around the sun and shot through infinite space from a godless Big Bang, they turned humanity into a random, meaningless, purposeless accident.
The Earth is flat. What you know about that? Waking up and realize 500 years of the lies, it's flat. They mess with our brains, terra firma remains. No matter how high we rise, even up into the skies, the horizon meets your eyes. NASA lies to our face, there's such a big disgrace, never been to outer space. They try to hide the truth with pseudoscience proof to brainwash the youth. They told us it was a globe just so they could control our mind, body, and soul. It's flat, the material plane. You got the balls on the brain, heliocentric, insane. Infinite plane or a dome, it may never be known, but the Earth is our home. Yeah, want all my flat earthers out there to sing along? Yeah, come on. The Earth is flat. It's flat. Earth is 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 flat. The Earth is flat.
The biggest cover-up and conspiracy in history. We've been completely deluded for 500 years.
Our solar system, this is space, the infinite frontier.
Hey, Linda! What was it like inventing the space shuttle?
I didn't invent the shuttle.
Well, I wonder whoever did made a lot of money. Hey, Linda! When are we gonna finally get over to Mars?
Well, there is a manned expedition being discussed.
No, I mean you and me. We can make an evening of it.
Look at the sunrise. You ever see anything that beautiful? Besides me, I mean?
Get over yourself, Kazansky.
Oh, come on, you're attracted to me.
All right, just pass me that wrench. What was that?
I think some debris hit the telescope.
Ed White is flying at 17,000 miles per hour, 200 miles above the Earth.
Okay, I'm out. Nothing sus.
Well, I think it looks so ridiculous and impossible. And you can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly. Like, we'd have way better CGI if it was fake.
It looks so fake. It's gotta be real. It looks so real. It's gotta be fake. It looks so fake. It's gotta be real. It looks so real. It's gotta be fake. It looks so fake. It's gotta be real. It looks so real. It's gotta be fake. It looks so fake. It's gotta be real. It looks so real. It's gotta be fake. I believe everything I learned at school. I pay my taxes and I follow the rules. Get my vaccinations and promote them too. I fucking love science and gravity school. There's nothing more to learn about this place we live. It's a spinning ball and globes are really the biz. Let's colonize Mars with a human race. Drive our red spots cause through the vacuum of space. It looks so fake. It's gotta be real. It looks so real. It's gotta be fake. It looks so fake. It's gotta be real. It looks so real. It's gotta be fake. I only get my info from reputable sources, men in White Coats, BBC, Quora, Snopes, and Forbes. Nothing worse than those conspiracy theorists watching YouTube videos thinking now they're the smartest. We're just too small to see the curve. I love that bending water is the best in our world. It's magic that we don't fly off our ball, but I'm so fucking worried off your head you'll fall. It looks so fake. It's gotta be real. It looks so real. It's gotta be fake. It looks so fake. It's gotta be real. It looks so real. It's gotta be fake. Science is awesome, space is great, the future's bright, just you wait. You should have listened in science class. Why are you questioning the math? Science is awesome, space is great, the future's bright. Just you wait. You should have listened in science class. Why are you questioning the math?
I say the stupidest things. That can't possibly be true. Even though we're just kidding. I just stabbed you.
Looks so fake. It's gotta be real. It looks so real. It's gotta be fake. It looks so fake. It's gotta be real. It looks so real. It's gotta be fake. It looks so fake. It's gotta be real. It looks so real. It's gotta be fake. It looks so fake. It's gotta be real. It looks so real. It's gotta be fake.
I'm Chris Hadfield, and I have a mustache. I'm Chris Hadfield, and I have a mustache.
I've been a space enthusiast since I was 4 years old. Getting to work on a mission like this, it's a dream come true. To me, Dawn is truly Earth's first interplanetary spaceship. No other spacecraft has gone to a distant body, gone into orbit around it, maneuvered there, then broken out of orbit, traveled elsewhere in the solar system to another alien world, and gone into orbit around it. And it does that with ion propulsion, which I first heard of in a Star Trek episode. Which I first heard of in a Star Trek episode.
And in case there are any conspiracy theorists out there, how would you prove to us that you're in zero gravity?
What do you think? We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
Is it really possible to suffer cold symptoms in space
You bet it is. It happened to me on Apollo 7, and it could happen on the new space shuttles, too. That's why all manned U.S. space flights carry Actifed. Even in space, Actifed relieves a stuffy nose and sinuses, runny nose and sneezing. But you don't have to travel into space to get full-strength Actifed. It's available without a prescription, right here on Earth. Actifed, the cold tablet most recommended by doctors. Now in capsules and 12-hour capsules.
Well, it's a real meal. 2 tantalizing entrees, a medium drink, and dessert. All for $2.89. Choose from 3 delicious combinations.
The Best of Times, rated PG-13. Starts Friday, January 31st at Select Theater.
This machine makes metal casings and headaches. The ones I take Anacin for.
Anacin, 23% more medicine than regular pain relief.
And in case there are any conspiracy theorists out there, how would you prove to us that you're in zero gravity?
Neurosynapse repositioner. We call it the neuralizer.
Even on foreign ground, let them know I'm around. I don't follow everybody when it's time to rap. At one time, everybody thought the world was flat.
That word takes on new meaning. It don't mean what you're thinking. It means full spectrum dominance for real. And you won't be born unless you have a function to fulfill. A scientific dictator's just more efficient, cause we ain't gotta waste effort to entertain your pathetic bitches. We just stick a chip in you. We don't particularly care. Immerse yourself, soon you'll be able to Google Earth yourself. Real time with no computer, we will make humans super. It's the ultimate Trojan horse. Once you marry the beast, there ain't no divorce. We got the populace brainwashed, all in a state of shock.
You will always have a special place in my heart.
An identification implant. Come with us, rebel.
The populace brainwashed, all in a state of shock. We got the military industrial complex, food squad all on your block. And if you happen to become aware now, we don't particularly care now, cause we got the neutron bombs that instantly suck the oxygen right out of your air now.
Many of us were told in private conversations that if we voted against this bill on Monday, there would be martial law in America.
Blast off!
Lied to, I'm taking my mind back. I'm taking my life back and I'm waking up slowly. I wanna thank you, Yeshua, for all that you showed me. FBI, we know you lie, and NASA, you do too. Cause in the sky, there's a dome that you cannot get through. You say that you can, but you put fluoride in our water. Shrinking our pineal glands, we're just sheep to the slaughter. Man, we're Jews to the chamber. Our lives are in danger, but sometimes reality is stranger than fiction. Our lives are confliction, technology addiction. Take a look around at the world that you live in. Are you spinning? Are you upside down? You really believe the earth is round? Gravity is a theory and is yet to be proven, and so is Big Bang, relativity, and the theory of evolution. A fish became a lizard, then a monkey, then a man. The heliocentric theory is part of their master plan. Are you starting to understand their plan? You're significant, special, and you have a purpose, man. You're significant, special, and have a purpose. What's wrong, little Lucifer? Why you looking so nervous? We were programmed at a young age to sit still and not ask questions. Sit in our assigned seat and force-fed their lessons. We need to raise our hand for permission to use the bathroom. And there's a globe in every classroom. I want it back, I want it back.
You can't have it, it's ours.
I want it back, I want it back. You can't have it, it's mine.
You'll never get it back. It's too late.
I want it back, I want it back. You can't have it, it's my mind, it's not yours.
You can't have it, it's ours.
I want it back, I want it back. You can't have it, it's my mind, it's not yours, not anymore.
It's my desire, it's not my duty to try to talk to you. Candor about what has happened on the radio. If what I say is responsible, I alone.
Not anymore.
How would you like it if someone told you the truth?
Welcome to the show where you don't know if it's part of the show. Welcome to the show if you don't know it's part of the show. Didn't they teach you to reach for the stars while opening up the bars and keeping you chained down with mortgage bills and cars? Vaccines for your arms, kids sounding like supercharged, caffeinated hate-filled scars and rage-quit repertoires. No answers for yards, caught up in emotion that's not even yours. Imposter truths like impeccable retards, lined up for your serving of Gish Gallop and wars. No remedy can't save the lost, in love with the yarn. I'm tired of walking into refracted shards, poor science displayed by disgusting bards. Soaked in sin with your dupe is delight and a new hand of cards. Been so long, seems like for love I'm just too hard, I'm just too hard, that's it. Welcome to the show where you don't know if it's part of the show. Welcome to the show if you don't know. Intoxicated Sophisticated ache makes you believe you're spinning in space while you have no shame or grace. It's a disdainful state I used to contemplate how to save myself from my own self-hate. Wonder why I was even made with a dreadful fate, forced to try and awake with a full plate. No one to help me stay awake or educate. I've had to liberate and fight through hidden gates. But my brother, heaven could never be late, and rockets don't work in space. It's all fake. The show is on Mars. It's a joke, but you're too far gone. It won't be long. Fepe's beak is strong. We have our song and we march along like streams of knowledge leading to God's holy pond, and lives of truth that hits the bong and sings the song, turns mankind from the wrong. We come in peace with a holy gown and all of us wearing our holy crowns. So the earth is flat and we probably just won't get along. Just to go along, I said, welcome to the show where you don't know if it's part of the show. Welcome to the show. If you don't know, you don't know.
Here is my guest.
I went to Paris in France, found a little romance. She was walking down the boulevard. I know I should have been good, I never thought that I would. Double crossing, baby, cross my heart. Put a little rocking and a little wine, saw me thinking about a little Valentine. What's a lonely boy to do? So fine. How silly can you get? Yeah, yeah. How silly can you get? Ooh, yeah. I never ever meant to say what you looked at me that way. The night was young and glittery, made me forget. How silly can you get? Yeah, yeah. How silly can you get?
This world is not what you think it is.
All the time, I don't know who to let the light. I really know she's in my arms to hold tonight. I woke next day on my own. Little birdie had flown, left the number of the telephone. I walked right out on the street, putting a hole in my jeans, a piece of paper with a message on. Should I call her up or should I tear it up? I think I'll call her up, then we can rip it up. What's a lonely boy to do? She looks so fine. How silly can you get? Yeah, yeah. How silly can you get? Ooh, yeah. I never ever meant to stray, but when she looked at me that way, when I was young and get ready, made me forget. How silly can you get? Yeah, yeah. How silly can you get? Ooh, yeah. I didn't need to hold tight, right on the moon, so that's the light. I only know she's in my arms to hold tonight. I went to Paris in France, found a little romance. She was walking down the boulevard. I know I should have been good, I never thought that I would. Be double crossing, baby, cross my heart. A little rockin' and a little stop me thinking about the little girl of mine. How could I be so cruel, my pet? How silly can you get? No more fooling around, you bet. How silly can you get?
Take from every 100 feet, runs it through there and vents it out to you over a period of time. For me, I've been just watching and enjoying. Like he said, he was hoping that Bush reads the book or gets it on tape or at least sees some pictures.
What's going to happen as the world goes flat? No one's talking about it. And I think, so first of all, there's just a huge education responsibility and opportunity here. What world we're living in.
I really see a connection between the flattening that Earth.
This crisis.
Every time I talk to you, I wanted to present you with the Google Web Accelerator Boomerang.
Oh, wow.
And the reason is for
the year was 1933.
These Masons wanted to do something unusual. I want to do. Perhaps I can give you a. I'm feeling lucky.
First of all, it's a flat world. This is a Rubik's Cube. Future in a flat world. This is basically a flat world. This is, you don't know it, but this is taking everything that you take from every 100 feet, runs it through there, and vents it out to you over a period of time. You have a ball. You have a ball. I don't know what this is. Even Magritte is going, I would not paint it. Going, get ready. Look at us. We have, well, look at the royal family. It's basically Deliverance staged by Fortnum and Mason. Well, look at the royal family. It's basically Deliverance staged by Fortnum and Mason. Fortnum and Mason.
Hi, I'm every man. Hi. And you? You could take a little sailboat. Well, my
Go
jet
for a
ski.
putt-putt. There you go.
Well, what if the water gets on you, though?
Let's say you're on a freeway. The world is not flat. This is called gravity, okay? So gravity is a real thing. You're going 60 miles an hour.
Yeah?
You put your hand out the window, and now they have imitation crab meat. Soon they'll have imitation tuna, imitation swordfish, imitation wahoo.
The imitation wahoo?
Not yet.
Oh, really?
But if they pollute all the oceans, they'll start working on that.
On the rainforest?
You ever see the rainforest before they were cut down?
No.
They're going to take a vacation there?
No.
Did you ever want a vacation in the rainforest?
No, I didn't.
What's your name again?
Every man.
Every man. You know a lot of people.
In order to beget power, and we can give them to you. I know everyone.
Geographic?
Really?
Where are they?
Well, they're in Antarctica.
What's... Where?
Antarctica.
What's special about Antarctica besides polar ice caps?
Well, it's got snow, it's got polar bears.
You want snow, you go to Maine, you go to Canada, you go to Vermont, you have little bed and breakfast place there, you get a little chalet.
Yeah, but
you don't need to go to Antarctica.
That's true. And then you have your skin cancer.
You never heard of sunscreen?
No.
You can't put on a little 15 or 22. What are you, a baby?
No.
If it's really bad, you put on 32, 42.
42.
If it's that bad during your life, it hurts your lungs.
Boy, it
it's
does.
Yellow out there.
Yeah, brown, that's
on
brown.
those days, you stay inside.
Yeah?
You close your windows.
Okay.
Or you walk across the street to the mall.
Mall?
What's the matter with the mall?
Oh, nothing.
You don't like malls?
I love them.
You'd better.
I do.
You could spend a whole day there on a floor. You wouldn't see the whole thing.
Really?
On one level. They got everything there. Right?
Everything? That's
Sure.
what I'm thinking about.
They got
that.
cashew shops.
Oh,
they got sneaker stores.
Nothing but sneakers. The sneakers
Right.
and things.
Aren't they wonderful?
That's wonderful. I go
And
in.
food?
Food is
You can have
incredible.
any kind of food
Oh, anything you want.
You can have Chinese food.
Lithuanian?
Right.
Well, maybe not
Mexican
now.
food.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
You can have Mexican food, Chinese
Mexican
food.
yogurt, I bet.
Where?
I don't know.
Where they have Mexican yogurt?
I didn't know they had that yet.
What mall is that?
I'm not sure there is that yet, but wouldn't that be wonderful?
No acid rain in a mall.
That's true.
No smog in a mall.
Oh, that's right, boy.
Don't you worry about atmosphere.
Yeah.
You get all the atmosphere you want in a mall.
You're right, though.
And it's safe. I'm telling you that the jury is out on photosynthesis.
What are you talking about?
Photosynthesis can be argued both ways.
Well, wait, we need plants and flowers.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. Plants and flowers in the wrong hands is a dangerous thing.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You go into a hospital.
Yeah.
You go into a patient's room and it's filled with flowers and
Yeah.
plants.
Mm-hmm. They're all there.
Right. What's the first thing a nurse does when she goes in that room?
Well, it's nighttime. She takes them out.
Why?
Because they consume the air.
Bingo.
Ouch. Oh, boy.
Don't be nervous.
Well,
Relax.
I'm a little concerned.
What's Mr.
Every man?
Every man. You're
Every
living in the best country in the world. Where are you living?
America.
That's right, because you elect the people you want to represent you.
Mm-hmm.
What are they called?
Politicians.
What they just passed? The New Clean Air and
Water Act.
Right. They spent months working on it.
Oh, they did, boy.
It was this long?
It was
And
longer.
then they beat it up a little bit. Didn't they?
yeah.
Punched holes in it.
Yeah, compromised,
Not- Compromised it right down to here
Mhm.
for good reason. Why?
Well, the lobbyists.
The lobbyists work for
Special interest groups.
Special interest groups serve.
The corporations.
And who are the corporations?
Well, executives and then lawyers.
People.
Like you.
So what are you worried about?
I don't know. I mean, after what I've heard today and all I've seen, I don't buy it. Don't buy what you said, the logic of it. About, well, the atmosphere, the ozone, rainforest, polar ice caps. I can always argue the other side.
Where NASA faked the moon landing.
Nanu, 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 nanu.
Up with gravity? Who the knew? Everybody else went, things fall.
I don't think that was me. I think you're transferring that with
Oh,
somebody.
really?
Yeah, I don't think
really? It's the
didn't-
Mandela effect.
Yeah, I never.
Kind of says these things that are so outrageous over and over and over again until eventually people think that
And others who
Right,
don't. Not have a debate on this.
The
You're saying-
debate is over. At
Yeah,
some
but that's
point, the
not-
debate has
but
to
you're
be.
the one should have some humility.
I have a
Say,
question,
wait a
though.
minute, there are a lot of people who disagree.
Should we
with
still
that.
debate whether the Earth is flat?
Yeah.
The Earth is flat?
Yeah.
The world is flat. And I thought, oh, great, he's reading Tom Friedman's book.
The world is flat. Actually possible that the world is flat. They're flat, what is it?
And take a chance on being loved or hated for who you really are, or you're going to have to kill who you really are. And fall into your grave grasping onto a character that you never were.
I want you to find your own walk right now, your own way of striding, pacing, any direction, anything you want. Robert Frost said, 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
In rather the same way that you can't look directly into your own eyes without using a mirror.
You talk about the mirror exercise.
Had any education in how to do it?
You know, and then at some point of your life, you have to go.
It's the dome. This is the dome.
With the firmament, with the firmament, with the firmament, with the firmament.
I don't care what it looks like. You know, I've found the hole in the psyche, and I'm going through.
Oh, now surely this is the right spot. Look at this. This area is filled with books about pretend people.
That's right, Grover. This is the fiction section. Fiction means it's a made-up story. 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 Fiction means it's a made-up story.
Fiction means it's a made-up story.
Some sunshine. Oh, I need some sunshine.
Fiction means it's a made-up story. Fiction means it's a made-up story.
Oh my gosh. Let's do that. No! It's a lie. Cap. Cap. Super cap. Hey, I don't even want to get into that, man. I don't even want to get into that.
Now here you come, raise the drawbridge and guard the wall. No boat's too deep and no fence is ever too tall. 'Cause I would do anything for you if you feel you can crash into my life and call it home. Got a new defense in the quicksand to slow you down enough for my plan. Baby, you can reach into my guarded heart. I'm out of reach, but Baby, you could teach me how to love again. I wanna just trust where you've been, but until then, there's still a breeze. This ain't the first time you've let the wind out of my sails. Your eyes won't lie when your words leave out small tales. So I'll cast away on this ocean alone. They say there's plenty of fish in the sea to call my home. My pen is mightier than your soul. Permission denied for you to come aboard. Baby, you can reach into my guarded heart. I'm out of reach, but perhaps not for long. And baby, you could teach me how to love again.
but it's has to be.
That stuff is flat.
It is Photoshop, but it's has to be.
That stuff is flat.
Has to be.
Flat.
I started to question things like my own beliefs and my own existence. Like, how does this work? What is the mind? There's this voice that keeps saying shit. What is the truth? What do I know? Am I the body or am I the soul? If I was to die, where would I go? Do I even matter if this is how it goes? But when I woke up, you know what I realized? I am the soul, and this body is just my vehicle. And with that awakening came so much more. Information about the system and how it works. Cause if you know the truth, you regain self-control. Not even a remote chance to get programmed or deceive no more. You start to do some research. That's researching what you think you know when you find out that the earth is actually not a spinning globe. What the fuck are you saying? You sat and thought I'm insane. But it's true, we live on a planet flat and stationary. The truth will set you free. Won't go back to that mental celling. Now I live my life in peace, which back then couldn't do if you paid me. Realize, there's realize and realize. Don't be surprised when you find the truth real deep inside. When I see the sky, the sun, the moon, they seem alive. Wish I could fly, so I can see my home with no CGI.
Tactical error, crack like a mirror. Eric Dubé bringing lyrical terror. Hate speech Al-Qaeda, but my rhymes are tighter. I rap for the masses, tracks full of classics. Masterful, plastered with factual fanfare. Banned, but I'm back to attack with a fair share of crap that I can't bear. Cause I'm a care bear. Where is the justice we need to come up in? 19.5 billion per year is what we pay them just to hear. We're spinning right round the Milky Way, waiting on the sun to die one day. But that isn't happening, that is inaccurate. Stick to the facts, not fear-mongering rocket. Masons are liars, NASA are masons. Masons that lie like they're snakes in the garden. The sun isn't dying, your soul is immortal, and so is the solace of solar return. You will ever remember in embers and flames the end of December dismemberment plan. It's a good band. By the way, watch what they say. Everything your government tells you is fake, especially anything about outer space. The only thing they could ever make I would rate is every politician's fucking head on a plate. But we're probably never gonna see that day, cause everybody's living in the rainbow way with no real man left, cause they've all turned.
Realize, there's realize and realize. Don't be surprised, and find the truth real deep inside. When I see the sky, the sun, the moon, they seem alive. Wish I could fly, so I can see my home with no CGI. Realize, there's realize and realize. Don't be surprised, and find the truth real deep inside. When I see the sky, the sun, the moon, they seem alive. Wish I could fly.
How would you like it if someone told you the truth?
Like what? What could they say?
He says the Earth is definitely flat.
And I'm here to talk about space. Garmin LCVG in the helmet. So she's missing a lot of stuff. As growing food here, you know, soil's different. You would need the right nutrients. Water act like a blob. You can very carefully play with water in space. You gotta be careful because if it hits something, it will splatter. So I thought they did a pretty good depiction of what would happen. Made of cheese. They brought back a lot of rocks, but no cheese. So you can't eat any of that stuff. If the astronaut is cool, I am okay with the movie. I really don't care about accuracy. In fact, I'd almost rather them err on the side of making the astronauts even more cool than they are, even though that's very inaccurate, obviously, right? So as long as the astronaut looks cool, I'm happy. I think that they're very inspirational. I think they're beautifully shot. Some are from imagination of what it would look like, some from actual images of what it's like, and I thank the people for making them.
There was a man named Pike, and some people questioned Pike, but he was apparently a 33rd degree Mason, and he wrote a book outlining the beliefs of the Masons, and some pretty horrible stuff in there.
About the construction of Solomon's Temple.
Lots of people here.
They're not. They are of Satan. And if you are a Christian, you cannot be a Mason.
Lucifer, what is your problem?
Just that, sir.
Okay.
I'm a Christian, sir.
I'm pure and virtuous and wholesome and innocent. How can you say anything bad about me?
Sir, you need to be born again.
I am born again.
Now, did you just say that you were Lucifer?
I am Lucifer.
Okay, define Lucifer for me.
Pure, virtuous, wholesome, innocent individual that's out to help people.
Lucifer is?
Yeah.
Say that again. Lucifer is a pure, holy...
Virtuous.
Virtuous. Now, is he the Lucifer that God created?
That's the same one.
Oh, man, this is great. I'm going to put this on the internet.
Oh,
Amen.
God bless you,
Amen.
brother.
Because that's exactly what the Shriners and Masons teach, is that Lucifer is light.
No.
And you're,
what
you're
about
confirming
those hospitals?
You know what, sir? Jesus said, many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, we did not do these good deeds in your name. And you'll say, away from me, you workers of iniquity. I never knew you.
Jesus said it?
In Matthew chapter 5.
Mercy.
No.
That's hard to believe.
So you're a Christian and you don't know that. Actually.
No, I really am.
You are.
Because I'm pure and virtuous.
You're pure and virtuous, okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you're perfect without Jesus, right?
No.
Okay, tell me about Jesus. Who is Jesus?
Well, he's my leader.
Is he the Son of God?
Yes, he is.
Is he the only worshipful master?
Yes.
Have you ever been called worshipful master?
No, because I've just been too busy. I've been working.
Working?
Been working to help people.
What
like
kind
you.
of work? Okay.
Get out of here.
See, this is what a Mason confesses, is that Lucifer is light. You heard it?
Regardless of whether the Apollo moon landing was faked or not, an interesting photograph hangs on the wall of the sanctuary of the Scottish Rite Masons in Washington, D.C. This photograph shows astronaut Neil Armstrong holding a Masonic apron over his spacesuit. The photograph has seemingly been taken on the moon, or at least on a studio set which resembles the surface of the moon. Neil Armstrong has become a mysterious character since his alleged moon expedition. According to the records of the Ohio Grand Lodge of Masons, Neil Armstrong's father is a Freemason. In fact, Neil Armstrong Sr. is a high-ranking 33rd degree Freemason. Neil Armstrong's co-pilot, the second man to have allegedly walked on the moon, was Buzz Aldrin. At the time of the Apollo 11 mission, Buzz Aldrin was a 32 degree Freemason. They were in good company, as many of NASA's astronauts were also Freemasons, including Gordon Cooper, Walter Schirra, John Glenn, Edgar Mitchell, Thomas Stafford, and Paul Weitz. These men were all members of the Brotherhood, all sworn to keep secrets on pain of death. These astronaut Masons were under the leadership of Kenneth Kleineknecht, who was NASA's Apollo space program manager. According to an article and photograph published in the Masonic magazine Scottish Rite Journal, upon his return from the moon, Brother Buzz Aldrin presented a flag to Sovereign Grand Commander Smith, who was the Supreme Commander of the Supreme Council of 33rd degree Masons of the world. The flag Buzz Aldrin presented had been taken to the moon on Apollo 11. According to a Masonic lecture delivered at Beauverde University in 1994 by American Masonic historians, astronauts Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong performed a Masonic ritual exactly 33 minutes after touchdown on the lunar surface. They temporarily planted the international flag of Scottish Rite Freemasonry, which features a large double-headed eagle. Therefore, the eagle has landed.
Override off. Engine arm off. 13 is in. We copy you down, Eagle. Listen, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot. And we're getting a picture on the TV.
The short Masonic ritual Armstrong and Aldrin allegedly performed declared the celestial body of the moon to be the property of the Masonic God. Who is the Masonic God? As confirmed by former Supreme Commander of the 33rd degree and Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, Albert Pike, the Masonic God is Lucifer. The name of NASA's space program, Apollo,